What's the craziest blackout drunk experience you've ever been told you've done? Got completely destroyed on an impromptu pub crawl. Woke up in another country. Apparently the ferry from Stockholm to Turku is perfectly fine with borderline comatose passengers booking tickets and boarding. They said I bought a hot tub online worth about 600. Checked my Amazon and found out they were right. I apparently once lifted a couch cushion like it was a toilet seat, then proceeded to vomit into the toilet, closed the lid, and went to sleep on the toilet. Pissed on my friend's suitcase, and when I was confronted mid-pee I justified it by claiming I was just pissing on this vacuum. Don't worry. I woke in bed with a very large bowl of spaghetti bolognese spilled under the covers with me. Arrived home. Took off my jeans in my kitchen, but put my shoes back on. Then proceeded to head to bed. As I passed my dad's room he was on his way to the bathroom and asked where my jeans were. I looked down and began to have a miniature panic attack because I thought I had left them in the taxi on my way home, along with my belongings. This has happened a number of times. In Norway we have this tradition called Russ, where the graduate students dress up in red, blue, black or white pants, drinking for 17 days May 1st, 17 and we have exams as well. I woke up drunk with a bottle of vodka under my teacher's desk. On my exam day, I do not really remember it that well, but the teacher let me take the exam. Some friends told me that we were in some girl's Russ van, drinking the whole night, and that they dropped me outside the school 1 hour before the exam. I once passed out in the middle of the road in the fetal position and was nearly run over by a woman delivering newspapers. The woman stopped and tried waking me up, but I was unresponsive. When the cops arrived they were able to wake me up, and when I was asked how much I had to drink, I simply responded, "You're looking at it." The police then charged me with disorderly conduct and took me home. I had no recollection of what fully happened until it was in the newspaper. We had a company Christmas party that ended up at a local bar one year when I was in my 20s. Most of us had significant others or friends who drove us home, but one of my coworkers didn't. I had left the bar around midnight, but apparently after the bar closed at 2, he drunkenly stumbled to his truck, got in, and cranked the actor full blast again. This is at Christmas time, there's snow on the ground. The cops who were outside the bar walked up to his truck and told him to roll the windows down. One of them says, "You've got the act on full blast. Are you hot?" My coworker replies, "That's my radio, mother ducker." He spent the night in jail. Cut someone in line for pizza in New Orleans and they wanted to fight me, but I was too oblivious to even know someone was trying to fight me. I remember the pizza line, but not the danger. One time I woke up and bitched at my friends for all eating jello shots without me. Then they politely informed me that they didn't have any, and I ate all of them. I hopped on a bus to Kansas because, and this was quoted back to me, when I called my brother for help getting back, "I want to find out if there's more corn in that shithole than Iowa." At my friend's 18th about 10 years ago, I had stupidly mixed heavy alcohol with the medication I was taking at the time. I think it was fluvoxamine. For gad. I remember joking around with my friends one moment. Then the next I was cowering in the corner, tears streaming down my face with several worried friends around me. I snapped out of it with something like, "Oh, hey guys." Apparently I had been sitting in the corner screaming out the name and phone number of the guy I had a crush on at the time. Good thing he wasn't at that party. Woo. I was about to get my tonsils out a few years ago. I'm 29 now and my brother, who is on his way to prison as we speak, insisted on getting me shit-faced at least once before the surgery. So he proceeds to take me to all his spots, introduce me to his friends, all the while slamming Red Bull vodkas. At some point I black out, but vaguely remember a ratty strip club for a few seconds, and then waking up the next day. He told me that I got us kicked out of the shittiest strip club in the city by standing up and saying, "How much does it cost to dug someone in here? Because I know that's how this works." I woke up in a police cell. When you wake up in a police cell with no recollection of what crime you have committed, you start to panic very quickly. I stood up and at that moment realized not only was I in a police cell, I was also naked. I put my clothes on and stood around waiting for someone to come and talk to me. A policewoman walks in smiling and eating a packet of crisps. She puts the crisps down and tells me to put my hands out so she can handcuff me. I do this while asking why I was here, to which she says, "You're about to find out." She walks me into a room with another policeman in it, who tells me to sit down and drink some water. He then tells me why I was there, which goes a little like this. I was walking home from a night out when I went into a small supermarket and proceeded to eat some olives. I don't even like olives, and some chocolate bread. I then picked up some chicken breasts and left with them, putting them in the bin outside the shop. As I was continuing my walk home, the policeman I was now talking to pulled up in front of me to arrest me, at which point I decided it would be a good idea to try and run away. I got about 10 miles before I ran into a bush and fell over. After he had finished, he asked if I wanted to see the evidence. I said yes. He then got up a CCTV image of me in the supermarket with a packet of olives in one hand, a big smile and a thumbs up with my other hand. I ducked up. Everybody is very interested to know, so I will clarify that I'm from England. Crisps chips. Also, I was naked because I always sleep naked, and apparently in my drunken state of mind I thought it would be okay to sleep naked in jail too. Thirdly, the police were all very nice to me. A policewoman told me my shirt was very nice and another gave me a Nutri-Grain bar. I got a fine and a warning. It is not something I have to declare, nor will it come up in a standard check. Lastly, I'm glad I have news to many with my story. This happened last December and my mum still offers me an olive every time she sees me. Not much. Once I woke up after having a drinking contest with a 40-something punk rocker named Jake. I was 17 at the time and not much of a drinker anyway, so I was obliterated. No memory of the night before, except puking with Jake in the bushes in front of my friend's apartment, where I was staying for a week during a road trip. Check my social media. This was like 2000. So I checked my Oliver journal. There was a message from me to me. "Hey, I know you won't remember in the morning, but you had some pretty mediocre sex with a girl named April last night. You weren't any good in bed. Insert friend name walked in on you, but she's probably not mad you were ducking in her bed. Don't drink anymore." So I was with some buddies of mine celebrating my 22nd birthday and we were drinking at my place, which I live on the second story of our apartment fourplex, and all I remember is setting up some beer pong. I don't even remember playing beer pong. Just pulling out the red Solo cups and opening up the beer. Everything else has been told to me by others that were there. But essentially the moral of the story is I was so drunk I had missed the stairs. By turning to go down them several steps early, fell off that balcony and landed on the concrete sidewalk below, breaking my left hip and my jaw in 2 places. I was so blackout drunk and confused that I was fighting kicking with my good leg and punching throughout the whole emergency room experience, and until they heavily medicated me almost to the point of induced coma. I woke up with a clear head finally 5 days later in post-surgery recovery. Funniest part is I now work at that same hospital. Bought tickets for a Black Eyed Peas concert. A mate of mine caught a huge seagull and held onto it as it pecked the duck out of his hands, then threw it screeching through the door of the pub he'd just been kicked out of, and we bolted. We woke up the next morning and he says, "What the duck happened to my hands?" I've no idea what happened in the pub, but I suspect it was quite amusing. I once woke up on my friend's couch wearing the clothes she was wearing. Was the night before. A few minutes after I woke up, her boyfriend walked into the lounge room wearing the clothes that I was wearing. I drank a 5th of whiskey, drunkenly stole another 5th of whiskey, drank that 5th of whiskey, fell down a flight of stairs, collapsed on a university lawn, puked on my friend's bed, and passed out. In that order. Had to be revived by paramedics. I don't remember any of it. My friends had to tell me about it later. Would not do again. I did a tuck and roll out of a cab. When I was a freshman in college, I didn't know how to hold my liquor, and being a 5 feet 2 tall girl, it hit me quicker than a lot of my friends. I remember nothing, but my friends told me they couldn't find me at a co-op house party and started freaking out. They found me on the front lawn having an in-depth conversation with a cop and a guy collecting cans. Apparently we were all laughing. The cop shook my hand and said have a great school year and left, and I promptly vomited into some bushes. I would give any amount of money to know what my blackout 18-year-old self was talking about and why the cop didn't charge me with an MIP. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.